Good evening, punters. PB here from Racecourse Capital, and I know it's been a little while, and you probably forgot what Ty looks like. But Ty, welcome back, mate.
Mate, it's great to be back.
What's been happening, mate? We've had a bit of hibernation, bit of a hiatus.
Yeah, we've been chipping away, but
we're
really launching into the spring. We're really stepping things up.
We sure are. We've been busy working behind the scenes on not necessarily a rebrand, but just changing a few things up, which has been really good.
Bit of a restructure, and we're just looking at little things that how we can improve our membership and our accuracy and all that sort of thing.
It's all about accuracy, isn't it, mate? Really,
that's it. Finding winners.
If you're not first, you're last. But it's been good. We've had a lot of good strategies, and we're back doing beers and bets on a Friday night. And what better place than me being here in the studio with you, setting up for what's going to be another cracking weekend of horse racing.
Absolutely, we're going to cover SA.
Oh, we're going to cover SA.
Look, because, and I think I explained this last week, because we're restructuring for September.
Yep.
We're doing races outside of our membership tracks. So SA falls into that category, and we take the best of what we got left over. And
absolutely,
it's actually a decent card. There's a few good races there, so hopefully we can find some decent value.
A couple of things that we needed to probably just get out of the way. It is beers and bets, but without beers tonight, mate. What's happened? What happened? All right, I'll own up. I normally am the guy that organises the beers, and tonight I've turned up because it's been a little while, and I said, hey, I'm here, let's film. But where are the beers? So the wonderful Renee has very kindly ginned us up this evening.
Yes.
And not only are we just in the gins, but I'll tell you what, it looks like we should be in the Burley Pav or somewhere like that, eh?
Look at that.
Cheers. We got the, smell that, rosemary.
Beautiful.
Mm.
So what do we got?
Gold Coast Gin. Very nice. Give him a plug. Actually produced and made locally here at Burley Waters.
There you go.
Burley Waters on the Gold Coast, lovely spot. Absolute lovely spot, and that's a beautiful little...
nice little drop.
Oh yeah, it's quite refreshing. I'll have to have a couple of gins when I get back home later on this evening. Right, but beers and bets with gins tonight. It's a little bit fancy. You know, it's a special occasion. We're back. We've had a few months off, and we're back into it and getting ready for all the spring, as you keep talking about, because that's where all the big races are coming. Massive cards, massive weekends.
We've got some horses that are coming through that we sort of glimpses of during the autumn.
Oh yeah,
that are going to be massive chances in the big races.
100%.
Spring.
I mean, if you think about it, there's the Caulfield Guineas, Caulfield Cup, Cox Plate, Inter Cup week. Oh,
it's going to be outstanding. And there'll be new ones that'll pop up as well. Young horses that'll pop. That's actually even just during the week. There's new horses just coming out of the woodworks and future stars.
Plus all the big stuff that's going to come out of Sydney as well. There's going to be a fair crack of that stuff around as well. So anyway, let's crack into it now. We threw a couple of cards out to our members today, and look, I wasn't overly stoked with the results at Ipswich today, but 2 out of the 3 best bets came home. So I hope you guys were on those bad boys today. There was a couple of $3 or $4 values in there, so that was good for Queensland racing. How did we go today? Where were we coming from, Victoria?
We were Geelong today.
Geelong.
Yeah, it's look, it's usually one of my more favourite tracks. Reason being, it's a more fair track.
Yeah.
Today was okay. It wasn't the greatest. Wednesday was good. Wednesday was better. I think that was
cracker Wednesday, didn't you?
Sandown. I think that was. That was a good day for the best bets, especially. But we found a few today, nonetheless. Yesterday was interesting with Bendigo. A track that I normally also would consider a fair track was actually fucking on pace as fuck.
Yeah, right.
And it was a soft 6 or something like that. I'm like, surely the soft 6 will offset any sort of leader bias
or anything, yeah.
But yeah, it was just on pace. It was like Moonee Valley. It was very, very hard to make up ground at Bendigo yesterday, which was a bit of a...
Sort of once you got to the 200, it was all she wrote.
It was just like the 2 front runners just gone, and it was just, you couldn't make up any ground.
Interesting.
Yeah. So took the notes down on that one, but yeah, it's been pretty good actually. We've had some free tips as well, been going out that have been.
There's been a lot of free tips going on. You've been a busy little beaver in the background there, mate, haven't you?
I've been putting some fucking serious hours into these free
Who
tips.
would have thought you were so good at social media? I mean,
I don't know about good.
Who would have thought, mate? Eh?
Giving it a crack.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a lot better than some of the slop I was putting up earlier on in our career, mate. It was just, try and put a couple of slides together and go, hey!
Trial and error, mate.
Yeah, that's true.
It's getting better and it will continue to get better.
All alrighty. So where are we heading tomorrow? We've got our members have got the main cards coming out of Queensland, Victoria, New South Wales, and beautiful WA as always.
We've got the Valley.
So Valley tomorrow.
10 race card, which
Ooh,
is massive.
huge.
Rose Hill.
Yep.
10 race card.
Lovely.
The farm.
Back at the farm, and I'll tell you what, the farm's looking a treat at the moment.
Is it?
So I'm looking forward to putting that card together for the members tomorrow.
And we've got Belmont for your WA picks.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, they've let Ascot go for a while, which is nice, and Belmont's been okay. I think there's a lot of, I don't know, it seems to be a lot of track renovations going on around the country at the moment, so it's been alright. Yeah, when you watch it on the TV, there's a lot of sand and soil being shifted, but races still must go ahead, so yeah, we'll be back at Belmont for a 9-card race tomorrow, which would be cool. But tonight's all about free tips for people that are a little bit unsure about whether they want to jump on board or not, don't know who we are, what we're about. So the new program is, Ty, why don't you tell us what the new
structure?
New look of Beers and Bets is going to be in the new structure.
So the new structure is this. So the tier that you've probably already seen us talking about in the past is $50 a month. And as it is currently, and will change coming into September, it's currently full cards for our main tracks in Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria and WA. What will change is that we're going to reduce the number of races per main track in order to increase our accuracy. Therefore, we're going to be able to put more time into each race, and that should help increase our accuracy.
Interesting.
And just, there's always a few races there that are sort of just like,
we're not sure.
Yeah, they're not sure. You're just like, it's just a shitty race, and you wouldn't really spend too much time on it.
Yep.
So we want to get rid of those races so that we can spend more time on those really good races where you can find some value.
Wow.
And that's the $50 a month. And we're also going to throw in a private Beers and Bets episode for our top tier members, where we'll go through our picks, our selections, and give you a little bit more analysis into why, or justification as to why, so that you guys really know where we're coming from with that. Because it's one thing to have a couple of sentences, and it's another thing to sort of sit here on camera and take you through how we came to this selection. So that'll be another thing, and we'll be sending a private video for you guys in the top tier, the $50 a month. And then we have our bottom tier, which is $10 a month, so it's a hell of a lot cheaper. And you'll get 2 best bets from each of the main tracks on Saturdays. So $10.
What a great deal.
$2.50 a week, and you're going to get 8 bets.
So what you're telling me, Ty, let's break this down for those at home. $2.50 a Saturday will get you 8 best bets from around the country.
Absolutely. It's like ridiculous.
So $2.50 could potentially make you $800.
Easy.
Oh. So some really good value. Also, it's a nice, easy level in just to see what we're all about and join the family. And we'd love to have you on board.
And on top of that, you're getting all the daily free tips.
And there's more.
We just keep giving and giving and giving.
Just weight punters. There's a free set of steak knives coming. I can just feel it.
But that's basically the structure. So $50 a month. The sort of, let's say six best bets per main track, with the private episode or analysis episode. And then the $10 a month for the couple of best bets per main track.
Fantastic.
On the Saturday.
Mate,
plus all the free tips that you get all the time.
I'm in. Sounds exciting.
Who wouldn't be?
Stay tuned. Keep watching the socials. Ty will be working his ringer off to make sure that he gives you all the information that you need. As always, we are an open door, open book policy. So if you've got any questions, just send us a DM.
Easy peasy.
That's what the young kids say these days, isn't it? The old
it.
DM. Slide into the DMs and let us know what you want to do. We just don't need any dick pics, but that's okay. We'll go on with that. So tomorrow's card from Morphettville, mate.
Morphettville. Okay. So look, it actually looks quite a nice card.
Yeah.
The first couple of races, the first couple of races on every card are a little bit fucking.
I'll tell you what, that's where you make your pocket change up, like
Sometimes you can nab a bit of value.
Couple of winners in the first 3 or 4 is a good way to start the day off. Give you a bit of confidence.
Right. Well, let's start at race 1, Morphettville. We're currently.
What do we got? A soft 5.
Soft 5, and the big thing is there's a bit of. Rain forecast.
Sorry, can we just cross over to Weatherman Ty for the report for tomorrow? Ty, how is Morphettville looking?
I'm being careful with my words here because I don't want to say too much, but I am looking at the forecast in front of me right now.
I must say there's a severe amount of precipitation
There's a fucking lot of rain clouds going on here.
You're telling me that Adelaide's going to be wet?
So it's a soft 5 now. if that rain comes, where do we end up? I know I've certainly looked at the form from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it could be a soft 6, soft 7,
Mm-hmm.
but then it could get into the heavy. It's not a track that I've had spent a lot of time on, so I'm not sure how it typically handles a decent amount of rain, or even just a small amount of rain. So this will be interesting if we do get some rain. We'll learn a lot.
Okay. Looking forward to it. Hear a lot of good things about Morphettville. In fact, would love to visit there one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Certainly do get their fair share of really great races. All right, let's kick off with the 9-card program tomorrow with race number 1, 1,200 metres, Spring Carnival at Morphettville, C2.
Okay. Well, do you want to go first?
Oh, look, I'd love to. Thank you, punters. We're going to give you our tips for tomorrow and just see where we're going to go. I'm going to throw a little bit of commentary behind it. So my money's going to go on Antics. I'm going to take on the very short price favourite, which is Jewel Bay. The favourite is going to be very tough, okay? So I think the favourite will be there all the way to the end. But I like Antics based because coming off a very nice soft trial at Cranbourne where it ran really well.
Yep.
We've got a top jockey that's booked on the back, which I'm also happy about. So, you know, and the form prior to that wasn't too bad. And at $4.60 beats a $1.80 favourite. So I'm happy to go against the favourite tomorrow.
Yep, I couldn't agree more
Oh.
because
Don't tell me. Great minds.
the reason I like Antics for all those reasons you stated, but
Yep.
also it has had a run on, I think it was a heavy 10. A heavy 10 in terrain. So you can imagine a heavy 10 there would be pretty up there.
It'd be a mud pit.
So, and it was only 1.5 lengths off in that heavy run.
Yep.
So you know that if there does, a fair bit of rain does come, then you know that it can handle it. And it's run well. It's 1 on the soft. So that box is ticked.
Yep.
And the favourite, like you said, Jewel Bay, is going to be awfully hard to beat. $1.80 is just...
If the rain comes, I'm not very confident on that money. So.
And it's sort of like, this thing might handle a soft 6, but then it starts getting to that soft 7 range, and it's sort of, it gets a little bit like, and you never really know, especially with these younger horses. They could come out and it could be easy, but $1.80, I don't think I really want too much of the $1.80.
Yeah, I'm always not too fussed on trying to back something that hasn't had a warm up run or anything like that on a wet track. But anyway,
I do think the Stokes Yard will go good at in Morphettville this weekend, though. I do think they'll go well.
Well, I'm happy with that. I'm glad
Antics.
that, mate, we are on sync for the first. I think we're going to clash later on in the card, but at least on the first race we're going to be okay.
Antics at $4.50. All right, we're going to race 2.
What have we got there? Another 1,200 metre race. Beautiful.
1,200 maiden.
Would you like to tell everyone who you're on?
Now, this selection comes from a horse that absolutely shit in. When was it? Was it yesterday or the day before? Might have been Wednesday. I had to tip. Must have been Wednesday because I had to tip outside the members' tracks. And Trey Bell ran second to Cadam's Club. I'm assuming that's how you say it. Cadam's Club. And that horse has come out and absolutely just bolted in a race the other day. Absolutely bolted in. So I'm thinking that form is quite good. And this horse is going to be running around with 53 kilos after the claim. Trey Bell currently at $4.80.
You happy you drew the car park or?
It's not great, but I do have another selection that ties into this very same race.
Yep.
So Inaugurate, where did it go? There you go. Inaugurate is currently $11. Dom Turner on the back, good jockey. It was 4th, but only just by the tiniest margin in that same race, coming out of the same race. And it's going round, it's since gone on to get a second, so the form's been pretty good.
Okay.
But it's going around at $11, and I just thought the discrepancy between the two was too much to ignore, considering that form looks quite strong. So you've got one, Trey Bell at $4.80 and Inaugurate at $11.
Yeah, rightio. Well, I've gone against both of your selections.
What are you on?
I'm going the back page. Back page was, I mean, it was the race to forget last run, with no luck, and I may have taken the piss of you being drawn in the car park, but this thing was drawn in the bloody departure land at the airport. Had the shittest, widest barrier that you could ever want. It had a even slower start when it came out of the box, and yeah, it was just behind the 8 ball all the way down the race. It did finish off well, which I liked. So I think there's a lot more in there and it's got more merit. There was a forgive run last time. It's drawn much better this time. We've got the jockey that stays, which is a good sign too. Not giving up on this. And it's a nice little cheeky value at $8.50 currently, so I'm happy with the back page.
I definitely think it's an open race.
Yeah.
That's why I just sort of went, okay, well, I've gone with a form that's been franked already. I'm like, well, at least there's been some sort of exposed form there that gives you a bit of an insight.
Absolutely.
And I just thought that discrepancy between those two was just too much, considering they had the same form on.
Yeah, look, I don't disagree with you. I think the Trebell is going to be extremely tough tomorrow if everything holds the way that it should. But I'm happy to take it on in the early stages while I've still got some money in my pocket.
Lovely, a bit of value.
Like a bit of value, mate.
Lovely. All right.
All right, I'm going to kick on to race number 3.
Race number 3.
Ooh, 1800. We're stepping up a little bit here. And I just can't go past the favourite in this one. I'm going to go Montepulciano.
Yeah,
Is that how you say that?
Montepulciano.
Montepulciano. With the scratching and flossing that came out today, it puts him right in this race. The form is very consistent. We've gone first, second. Prior to that was a third placing, which I was happy with as well. There was a forgive, I think, when the step up and grade to a 7th, but other than that, I'm very happy with the form of this one. And at $3, why wouldn't you?
Absolutely. So, I've gone with the 2 Victorian horses.
Of course you have.
Blue Cup and Holster. I just think at the current odds they're way overs. Look, they've got to give weight to a few of these, and obviously the locals are always going to do well at their own track.
Yeah, of course. Well, you'd hope so.
You'd think so.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Cup, I just know this horse has got a good run in it. It's run around some really nice horses.
Well, you think of the travel too from Victoria to Morphettville. It's a 10-hour trip by truck. So you're looking at... they're sending it for a reason. There's got to be a reason, because there's no way that they wouldn't be able to find a race in Victoria to suit.
Sure.
So for them to send it over to Adelaide, why not?
And look, it's got a good gate, and it's a race. Blue Cup, I know it'll try and push forward. From gate 2, it's going to push forward.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a race that seems to be devoid of speed. So Holster's going to absolutely go nuts out in front and have its own way out in front.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Holderon, that's currently $7. And it might just lead and be too hard to run down because, what's the track? How's the track going to play tomorrow? It's sort of one of those things.
We're a little bit unsure too.
And if it really is a race where Holster can just control and just get out in front and stack them up and go. So Holster's a 7 and Blue Cup's a 750, and I think that's strong. I think it's like 78 grade. Yeah, so it's coming out of the 78. Holster's coming out. Its last run was in 78 grade and had a jump out win since, a dominant jump out win too. You're getting $7 and $7.50 to find out. I thought that was pretty good odds for a couple of Victorian horses.
Fantastic. Well, I'm a Victorian at heart, so go the Vicks, but you can finish up behind mine. So I think the favourite in the third looks pretty good. We could do that. We could do a box. Trifecta. Right. Let's move on to race number 4.
Race number 4. Oof. What are you liking, mate?
All right, what am I liking? I'm actually liking Merchant Boss.
Yep.
So Merchant Boss is coming off back-to-back wins, holds a 3-kilo claim. I mean, what's not to love about this? The form stacks up.
Flying, the horse is flying.
Absolutely flying. It's been up for a little while when you look at the runs that it's had, but it's obviously taken a little while to get into its groove, find its rhythm. It's got that with back-to-back wins. It's been placed really well. The barrier's a good one at number 4. Alana's good as an apprentice and just gives us that 3-kilo claim, because if the rain comes, that's gonna make a big difference.
Yes.
So we're going to be 54.5 tomorrow. So that's a nice weight to be running around on. So I think that's going to be pretty tough to beat, to be honest.
Yep. I like when you first glance at this. Obviously, you go straight to those the 2. You go Sweetened and Merchant Boss.
Very short at $1.90. I don't
know.
like it.
I think I like Sweetened. I don't like the price. But I never really like $1.90 for anything.
No, you don't.
So Sweetened, I really think Sweetened can win because of the race, the lightning that it comes out of.
Yep.
It was a really good finish. It finished really well last start. What was that? That was 1,050. So it stays at the same distance.
Nice, very nice.
One that I tipped last start at very similar sort of odds that didn't really run up to my expectations was Sabermetric.
Okay.
It drops, I think, 4.5 kilos. I've written it down here somewhere. It drops 4.5 kilos, I believe, off last start.
It's a big drop.
Big drop.
Huge drop.
Gets gate 1 can sit on the pace, like lead, or can sit behind the pace. And you're getting $8 to find out. And I think potentially, even though it's just 50 meters, it seems to run best at this sort of 1,050. I don't know. It's weird. It's sort of like a specialist sort of distance for SA. It's some horses just love that 1,050, and they don't really like either side of it. It's weird, but it's sort of like an 1,800 or a 1,700. You know, it's sort of like a specialist sort of a distance. But I like the big drop in weight. I'm not 100% certain on how it would go if things got really wet, but it has handled like soft ground, maybe up to sort of a soft 6.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that sort of soft 7, heavy 8 sort of region, but gate 1 on speed, drops all that weight, and it likes the distance. It's had some success at the distance, so I'm willing to forgive that because that was his first up run in a tough race that has already had some form come out of it as well.
Beautiful.
So save metrics at $8.
I like it.
And then sweetened, I think, is it's hard to beat, but I don't like it all night.
No dramas. I'll be behind Merchant Boss anyway, mate, so it'll be okay.
There you go.
Race number 5, man.
Race number 5.
Race number 5. Would you like to lead off?
Okay. I tipped More Sugar last time it ran, and the way it hit the line actually was quite impressive. More so the work it did after the line. It just kept on running, and I think that's why they've stepped it out. What has it gone from 1,400 to 1,800 today? So it could be a bit of a test run. I wouldn't be overly confident, especially with the $3.20 they're giving you. But the way it went through the line and kept running suggests that extra distance.
It's searching for a longer distance.
Yeah, and it really built up and hit the line hard. The one that's at $3.20. The one that's been proven at longer distance is Cable Dancer. Cable Dancer gets gate 2, Todd panel on. It's a leader, so it's going to go out to the front. But what I really liked was the third placing to Dunkel, who has won. Was it SA Derby? Derby.
Yep.
And look, this is a bit shorter than that. This is 1,800. That was 2,200. And I'm not sure about the whole how wet it can handle the track. It's coming from a strong Victorian race as well, which was run at the Valley, where if you weren't sort of up the front, you were gone. You had no chance. It was fairly like back, but I was happy with how it actually ran through the line, considering, and it could really jump out of the ground going out to this sort of distance now, in this sort of grade of race, because this would be well back in class from what it was up against last start. So I think that one's at $5.50. There's a bit more value there than More Sugar at $3.20.
Yeah, okay.
And it really just depends. What does the weather do?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the big question. But yeah, when I first looked at this one, I thought it was 6 foot long, which I thought, geez, I'll tell you what, most people would be happy if you had a 6 foot long one. But it was actually 6 foot song.
Where's your mind going?
Yeah, well, 6 foot song is what I've picked out of there and what I like. Yep. Not hugely supported tomorrow as yet, but there's just something that I like about it. The recent form's been good and consistent. It has been up for a while, but still has got something in the tank, I believe. So I think it's got, still a little bit more before they send it back to the yard for a spell. It's coming out of a nice barrier. It's at $5. And I can't sort of question why not. It's got a really good track record on the soft.
Yep.
I'd be questioning how wet it got, whether that would just sort of throw it right out of the race. But I think the weather will play a role in where that money goes tomorrow. But if it stays soft with a light sprinkle, I think we're okay.
I think that'll run well for sure, because I tipped that the other week, and it's a, like I was just talking about, it's a distance specialist. And look at the distance. It's had 3 wins at the 1,800 meters.
Yeah, correct.
Which really is. It's just a real.
Yeah, so it's happy with the distance, so we should be pretty good tomorrow.
So there you go. That's $5.50.
Okay, here we go, man.
Value.
I know, a lot of value. All we need is for them to come in, mate, and we're okay.
Fuck favourites.
Fuck the favourites. Race number 6, Gilladora. Is just something about this horse that I really like, and I just can't put my finger on what it is, but I watched some replays of it the other day, and I just think it's got something special in there, and it needs a little bit of luck. But then I look at how it's been run, and it's come off 2 races, spell, 1 race, spell, and we're 1 race, and we're back into a second up tomorrow. Sorry. So I think the spells in between the races are is very strategic with the trainer. I think it's a good thing. So obviously knows how to manage the horse really well. I won't have an issue with the track and the distance. The conditions, as we keep talking about, the weather could throw that out of that, but the distance and the track should be absolutely fine. Comes out of the shotgun barrier inside there as well, and I'm pretty happy with that actually. So I think we're 650 again should be pretty strong enough to take on the favourite, and it should be very competitive.
Okay. Beautiful. That's a nice value, $6.50.
Thanks, Ty.
I found it really hard to go past the favourite in this one. I don't like $2.80.
Did you just say fuck the favourites, mate?
Yeah, but I'd just use it as a saver. I wouldn't fucking go all in on a $2.80 shot. So 16 Reasons comes out of that same lightning form, it has the strongest form. And it finished really strongly in that race. It drops in weight. What does it drop? It drops 4.5 kilos off a really strong race. So it's coming back into a weaker race and it's dropping a shitload of weight, which is unusual to happen, but I think it's because it's a young horse. So it's getting in with what's it going to run with? 52.5.
It's pretty light.
Gets gate 3 as well, so it should get a soft run. $2.80, like I said, I don't like $2.80, but just on form, I found it hard to go past. But I'll give you a couple others I like at value. I think if the rain comes, I think Declared can run a big race.
Oh, okay.
It gets a little 2 kilo claim into 58, which I'd like it to be a little bit lighter, but that's better than nothing. What else I got here? The other thing is with Declared, the last run was 1,050. If you go through its form, it seems to be, I wouldn't say better, but it seems to have a fair bit of consistency at that 1,200 metres, which to me sort of goes, okay, maybe it was already looking for that 1,200 metres last start. It was sort of just grinding away. It was through the line okay, but sometimes when that happens, you think, oh, geez, maybe it's setting itself up for a 1,200 metre run, short, sharp sprint. So Declared, and I believe it will handle any sort of rain that comes. I could be wrong, but if you look at it, some of its wet weather runs, it's action through the wet weather. It seems to get through it quite well. So Declared's currently at $7. I'll give you a blowout. Chambers Bay, again, another one that I thought could have been a blowout last start, and I think getting back to the 1,200 for this one is actually a key as well. Before it came over to SA from Victoria, it had a win first up at 1,200
on the synthetic.
Okay. And then it came out of it ran in a 1,200 metre race on the synthetic again, and Better Link won that race, and Explosive Rosie got in second, and Explosive Rosie came out of that race and absolutely destroyed in the next race. So I went, wow, that race is pretty strong. That's why I tipped it last start at big odds. But it was back to 1,100 metres, and it was another one that actually built into the line. And you sort of go, well, it actually was passing other runners on the way through. So it's another one that may or may not like really wet weather, but I had it as a jump out. You can go back and have a look. It's on a soft 7, and it actually glides through the soft 7 easily. And I think it was at Maui or something like that. And when a soft 7 at Maui is more like a heavy 8.
Yeah, correct.
And it was gliding through it. So it's interesting. Sometimes you see stables that go, oh, keep it off the wet, keep it off the wet, keep it off the wet. And then later on in its career, they run it on the wet and absolutely destroys them. So sometimes they get a little bit weary of doing it to protect the horses and stuff, and that's understandable. But eventually they get onto the soft or the heavy and they love it. So I thought that might be one, and that's at big odds. That's at $21 from the Stokes Yard, gate 5. And it's a leader in a race that I don't think was awfully fast from memory. I could get up the speed map, but what are we, race 6? I don't think it had a lot of speed in this particular race. There you go. So Chambers Bay will push out in front, and Declared, they reckon, Sportsbet think that Declared will go out in front as well.
Okay.
So again, it's sort of you're sort of guessing on the track bias there. What is it going to do? But I thought Chambers Bay was at big odds and could be one that could just jump out of the ground.
Very good. Extremely detailed there for race number 6.
Yeah,
Absolute
like
cracker.
roughies,
You do, don't you? You got a soft spot.
Race 7?
Yeah, race number 7. Going in to race number 7, and I'm all over Neodymium. All over Neodymium. It comes back in grade. Much fitter.
It's a grey as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it is too. I might just like a little cheeky grade. Back in grade, but much fitter for the run prior. At a beautiful price of $4, and punters, I'm going to give you that as my best bet for
Oh,
tomorrow.
wow. Confidence.
Wish we had that.
We could do that, eh?
We need a horn or something. So my best bet of the day tomorrow is going to be Neodymium in race number 7.
I agree.
Oh!
Oh, shit. I think that's going to be awfully hard to beat, that horse. Gate 4. Look, it carries a bit of weight, but I think it's the best horse there.
Yeah.
I think by a little bit of a margin. And it should handle the soft and heavy. Look, it's had a bit of a jump out on a heavy there around a nice horse and done well. So we're sometimes you got to go back through the jump outs to sort of find when they run on heavies if they don't have any exposed form, but normally tells you by their action on the heavy whether they like it or not. I think it's a great bet. If I'm to give you another one, and I found it hard to find anything else, but I think Victory Bandit down in the weights, 52 will have 52 and a half.
Yeah, okay. It's been up for a while though, eh?
Yeah.
Must have been a forgive run last start. Don't know much about that one.
So back in trip after conceding 2 biggest starts, so obviously couldn't run on. But I look at the run before that. It ran second in, I believe it was 70 grade. I think that one where it ran second was in 70 grade.
Yeah.
At the same weight, and at the same sort of distance. So I'm willing to forgive that run where it couldn't run on. It gets down in the weights again. It gets gate 3. It's currently $6.50. So if you wanted a little bit more value, you could go for that one. Okay. You can get on both of them, really. Like, the odds are you can get on both.
You sure can. Nice 2 horse multi or something.
Yeah. So Neodymium, or how do you say that?
Well, I'm going to say Neodymium.
Neodymium.
Yeah.
And Victory Bandit.
Very nice, mate. Into the big one, race number 8. It's the Behemoth Stakes, and I am pushing Sevatoxel.
Oh, I actually had a feeling you were going to jump on this.
How did you?
I don't know. I don't know. I think there's something going on, but I think it'll be hard to beat.
Yeah.
Because it's the speed.
Oh, sorry, man. I've just kept getting this bloody
bit dry in the front.
A little bit of something caught there.
I think it'll get full control of the speed. I don't think anything else is going to match it for that speed.
Yeah.
I like, and it's just everything else behind it really doesn't have much speed. So I'm sort of looking. I'm going, well, whatever's drawn in might be able to tuck in and actually be more forward than normal in their normal races.
Yeah. I just think you got to move past the last. You need to go back further than that, because when it went to Darwin, it was expected to run a lot better, and it just did not switch on.
It's going to be awfully hard to run down, that's for sure. Like really hard to run down, especially if it just gets its own way. There's no pressure. It's won a Group 1 before.
Yeah, correct.
So, it's definitely suited this sort of wait for age race.
I thought you would have been all over Calypso Rain Ironclad. Oh, you are.
I like Calypso Rain. It won this race last year on a heavy. So if it goes to a heavy, you know that it's going to handle it. Won by a couple of lengths too. I like that it gets gate 2. I'm not sure whether it has heaps of speed to be able to utilise it and be sort of second pair, but I'd accept sort of third pair from gate 2.
Yep.
I actually like another one even more. I like one even more.
What's that?
I like Bugnish.
Ah, Bugnish.
If that's how you say it.
Well, I'd say that, Bugnish.
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 Ran on extremely well in the Lightning.
Yeah.
It gets him, obviously, with its weight for age, it's a young horse, gets him 56.5. I think that form is extremely strong, and it gets gate 5. It should sit just behind your pick.
Okay.
So, if that is where it's at, if it's just purely just a front runners, just they're the only ones that can win, I think it's going to be there. It's got the lightweight. It's come off a really strong race where it hit the line really, really hard. It's 1,050 metres up to the 1,200. I think the 1,200 will be absolutely spot on for it. I think this will be a peak run for it.
Love it.
It's $10. $10 for Boognish and $9.50 for Calypso Rain. I didn't put any other roughies. No, they were the two main bets at really, I thought really generous odds, especially for Boognish.
Very nice.
Off a really nice run.
Alrighty. Well, it's going to be a cracking race, that one. Race number 8 at Morphettville tomorrow. Alright, into the lucky last, race number 9. Race number 9. I am coming home. It's a bit of an open race, this one. And there was a couple I was a little bit unsure about, but I've made a decision and I'm going Portation. So Portation gets my nod. It gets a 2 kilo claim. Recent form's been absolutely outstanding. The barrier is probably the only question mark, just being that little bit wide for me. And it is stepping up in grade this race.
Yep.
But having said that, with back-to-back wins last 2 starts, why not? So the weight's up. It's the top pick, and away we go. So
all right,
$4 as well. So I'm happy with that.
It is. I looked at that horse for ages. I was like, okay, what can I find that can beat this thing, because this thing's absolutely flying. I ended up on Street Delight, Street Delight, and Cool the Jets. Now, I had to do a bit of digging for Cool the Jets.
Yeah, I was going to say there's not a lot around for that one. I've thought about that as well.
But what I liked was the 1,000-meter race where it ran behind. It was won by Merchant Boss. And Merchant Boss is in absolutely crazy good form.
Very good.
I believe Declared. Is Declared? Oh, no, Declared was in the other races. I'm thinking of another horse. But I think what suits this horse is that it's going back in distance. I think it's actually a better horse when it's at a shorter distance, as shown by previous runs. I have a 1,000-meter run, ran a second, and then it was only 2.5 lengths off Merchant Boss.
Yeah, right.
At 1,000 meters on the soft ground. It has one on the heavy as well, which was another big push for me. The Dom Turner sticks on the horse. It gets gate 4, which I don't know. It might be able to slip up the rail if they come wide in the turn, and might be able to cut the corner and make some ground on the rail.
Yep.
I think that would be the best chance, because it does have a good finish on it. I think backing trip is the big factor for it, and that's currently $10. And Street Delight is an interesting one. Again, from the Stokes yard, like I said before, I think they're going to have an okay day tomorrow. Yeah. Its trial was extremely good. I can't remember if it was a soft 7. I think it was a soft 7. Won by nearly 3 lengths in its trial, and it did it really, really easy, which caught my eye. Like, it was just gliding away from under no riding.
Floating on air.
Yeah, it was. And it gets in with 56 kilos here. Gate 2, Kayla Crowther for a good yard, $5. It's still a good each way odds there.
Fantastic.
And I just think with all those variables sort of come together for it, I think it's had some good form in the past, back in Victoria. So I couldn't. It goes well on the heavy as well. So $5.
Why wouldn't you? Fantastic, man! What a cracking card tomorrow at Morphettville. Can't wait. I don't know what my afternoon is going to be like, mate. It's going to be working and listening to the wireless.
I don't mind. Like, SA can pull up some good
value.
Yeah,
I know.
What about the other week where it was I think it was 4 roughies in a row. It was like $20-something and it was $30-something. It was a $60 pop.
I know, insane, hey, insane.
All one after the other. I thought, fuck me. It was like one of the first times I'd ever fucking tipped there. I was like, what's going on here? But
you can hear the passion from Ty looking at Morphettville tomorrow. So I'll tell you what, I reckon we've got a few winners out of that little section.
I reckon we do too, for sure.
Bloody beautiful.
All
right. Well, this concludes our broadcast day. Thank you for joining us again, and back on Beers and Bets on a Friday night. We'll be back next week. Members, see you tomorrow morning with your tips.
Yep.
And for those who've got any questions or like to join us, you know where to go. Slide into Ty's DMs and he'll be right all over it with you, getting back to you. All the information. Come and join us for the spring. It's going to be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Ty, we always go this. We're going to start doing it again. Any final words?
No final words. I think just pray to the rain gods. I don't know if I should ask for rain or not, because I've
I
done a
think
lot
you
of form
should
for
just
heavy
let.
tracks.
I think you should let sleeping dogs lie, mate. Because I've done form for soft. So let's just leave it at a soft 5.
Surely we can find it in between us.
Sounds good. All right, punters. Until next time. Cheerio.